It's good to have you join us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Bintu Aliyu Sumono. I'll begin the news with the Moroccan, with the visit of the president to Morocco, as Nigeria and the Kingdom of Morocco have signed 3 new agreements as a deliberate attempt towards deepening the highly beneficial relations between the two countries in various sectors of their economies. This followed the high-level talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and the King of Morocco, Mohammed VI, in Rabat, the Moroccan capital, when the Nigerian leader paid a reciprocal visit to the North African nation. State House correspondent Adam Sambo has details.
It was an outstanding demonstration of honor and respect for President Muhammadu Buhari as he arrived Rabat Saleh International Airport to begin a 2-day official visit to the Kingdom of Morocco. King Mohammed VI personally led a high-powered Moroccan government delegation to give him a rousing welcome. The two leaders thereafter drove in a long motorcade to the official residence of the monarch, acknowledging cheers from the residents who lined up the major streets to show solidarity, goodwill and support. And at the forecourt of the King's Palace, a befitting guard of honor was put together by officers and soldiers of the armed forces of Morocco to give a befitting reception to the Nigerian leader. All those that matter in the affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco were on hand to show respect and proudly associate with President Muhammadu Buhari, widely acclaimed as a man of honor and enormous integrity.
This is the highest level of protocol that can be extended, can be given to any visiting president. They unleashed all their royalties, to receive us, and this is quite impressive. I can say they have a lot of respect for Mr. President.
President Buhari was then led into the palace by King Mohammed VI, where high-level talks on areas critical to the economic interests of Nigeria and Morocco were discussed behind closed doors for about 1 hour. Consequently, several agreements were signed by officials of both countries aimed at deepening existing relations. One of them is the cooperation agreement in the field of agriculture, vocational training, and technical supervision.
Once these agreements are put in place, they achieve 2 things. They strengthen the relationship between us and Morocco, and then they also make agriculture more modern, more profitable, and more attractive. And in that partnership, we intend to make Africa self-sufficient in food production.
Also signed is the Memorandum of Understanding between the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority and the OCP of Morocco for the development of a chemical plant in Nigeria for the production of ammonia and derivatives.
Just the 1.5 million metric tons for ammonia alone will be an investment of over $1.2, $1.3 billion in Nigeria, depending on what the feasibility report tells us. The overall platform we're looking to build is about $2.5 billion of investment. So that is investment that will be made in Nigeria. And it's also foreign exchange income because the relationship we have with them guarantees us an offtake for a very long time. So it will create jobs in the country. It will be a very good use of our natural resources. And it will also be a way of balancing the trade relations between the two countries so that it's more sustainable going forward.
Similarly, a joint declaration was formally entered into on the proposed regional gas pipeline project to connect Nigerian gas resources across the West African countries to the Kingdom of Morocco.
This is the second phase of the discussions, and probably the possibilities are on the drawing table, and I assure you within a year or two the project will start.
Well, I see Nigeria and Morocco really contributing a lot to the economy of the sub-region, to the region, and it's a kind of win-win situation.
It will be recalled that during the visit by King Mohammed VI to Nigeria at the end of 2016, about 20 other agreements were signed between Nigeria and Morocco, now yielding tremendous benefits to the economies of both countries. From Rabat in the Kingdom of Morocco, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has tasked African petroleum ministers to redouble efforts at achieving diversification of economy and ensuring investment in infrastructure and human capital development. While declaring open an extraordinary session of the Council of Ministers of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, the Vice President said oil and gas may not always be central to the global economy as they are now.
All serious economies around the world have realized this and are making determined plans for a world beyond oil, or as they say, a zero-oil world. As African countries, we cannot afford to act differently. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt that, this extraordinary session of the Council of Ministers of African Petroleum Producers will facilitate increased cooperation amongst our member countries for the development and implementation of robust policies and solutions focused on maximizing the value in and the benefits of our oil and gas resources.
Meanwhile, Mayor Ogidi in this next report takes a look at the hydrocarbon potentials on the African continent and life beyond oil.
After oil, what next? But while it lasts, how prepared is Africa on the international oil politics? Africa, a continent with an estimated 513.2 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve and 132.4 trillion barrels of oil reserve, is fast becoming a major destination for investors, as about 500 companies participating in the oil and gas industry. But with the dwindling reserves and a world that is going beyond oil, experts call for interdependence among African states, improve on research and technology with a view of aligning with major world powers.
We need a framework with a real economic and strategic intelligence device, and this is the role that our organization must play.
Well, I think there's more information now. People are doing more research now and following trends across the world. And I think things are actually getting better, yes.
Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiku, is now the president of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, with assurances of a better oil market in Africa.
About 5 out of close to about 50 countries in Africa probably hold 70% of the investment funds in the sector. So we need to find a way of getting more investment into that area, get Apple to be Apple Fund to be a catalyst for that, along the same lines as ADB is doing in Africa. That for me is the key.
The paperwork and exchange of ideas are over. Time now for action. Mayor Ogede, NT News.
And from the Senate comes a report that the Senate President Bukola Saraki says the economic bills considered by the 8th National Assembly are beginning to make positive impacts on the nation's economy. In a statement marking the 3rd anniversary of the 8th Senate, signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Yusuf Olaniyan, the Senate President, while thanking Nigerians for their support so far, explained that the 8th Senate has passed more bills, cleared more petitions than the previous assemblies since 1999. He cited some of the bills, including the PIGB Constitution alteration bills and the Companies and Allied Matters Act. Now, food and beverage producers as well as dealers of electronics have been directed to take charge of their plastic wastes. Minister of State for Environment Ibrahim Usman Jibril gave the directive in a meeting with members of the Waste Management Society of Nigeria in Abuja. Mayor Ogidi reports.
Fears were expressed from different quarters on June 5 on the dangers of plastic garbage and recommendations made. 3 days later, the Ministry of Environment has given guidelines to major producers of plastic food and beverages on how to take responsibility of their products.
Those who produce things for our consumption should not just forget about what they have produced after we have bought them, but they should also look at the end of shelf life.
So I believe that in the next 6 months, at least every major player in the food and beverage company will be part and parcel of this.
At the individual level, reorientation of consumption habits and proper sorting of waste, that is, disposing non-biodegradable and biodegradables separately, as incentives will be given at the point of collection.
It will not end here.
Meanwhile, the Ministries of Environment and Mines and Steel Development are comparing notes on how to come up with recommendations to ensure mining that is free from lead poisoning, as the Zamfara and Niger State incidents, where 400 lives were lost in 2010, remains a concern. And this meeting, therefore, is a preparatory to an international conference on lead poisoning coming up this month. Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
Now, the ongoing reconstruction of the Apapa Ports Access Road in Lagos is part of the 3 key interventions to totally decongest the ports, boost the executive order of ease of doing business, and promote operational efficiency. Ronke Kolawole, who visited Lagos recently, reports that the plan for the total overhauling of the ports is under the Corporate Social Responsibility Initiative of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Federal Ministry of Power Works and Housing, and 2 major players in the maritime transportation subsector.
Year-old Chika Okoro has spent 11 years of his existence lifting cargoes as transporter in the Apapa Tinkan Island, Lagos. He's proud of his job as it is his main source of livelihood. Just like his colleagues and other users of the Apapa Port Access Road, he looked back at the not-too-long days of persistent traffic hold-up on the road. The consensus is that though the ongoing reconstruction has brought a lull to business activities in the area, but they are optimistic in their thinking, with the belief that no pain, no gain.
The way they are doing it is okay for us. We can get access down from Ijora, Olokpa, Ijora, Badia, down here. It's very, very free now.
Look, we find it difficult to access our point of loading. But I believe after the construction, everything will go back to normal. The government are trying, the road is moving well, so they should just please and try and make sure the road is fast for us so we can do our work well.
Globally, about 90% of world's merchandise and raw materials are transported by sea. That is according to available statistics, aside its eco-friendly benefits. With a renewed vigor coming from the federal government to diversify the economy, easy accessibility of Apapa ports is key to boosting the revenue profile of the country. Poor accessibility of Apapa Wharf Road has been a major reason why importers of goods and services coming through this axis have been accruing a lot of damage on goods and services brought into the country.
We are working hard with the Office of the Vice President and Minister of Finance and Customs everybody to ensure that goods are cleared in 48 hours. We should be able to ensure that what we call the National Trade Platform is put in place, where you can clear your goods as quickly as possible.
Established in 1913 and the largest in Nigeria, the Apapa Port is under concession since 2006 for improved operational activities.
We're also reviewing their contract agreements. We're reviewing the concession agreements to identify areas of non-performance so that we will sign supplemental agreements. And we've been working on that in the last 10 months. We should be concluding within 3 months.
As more efforts are on to reposition the ports, key players are optimistic that Nigeria may soon become a hub of maritime enterprise in the sub-region. Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
Let's join Lagos, where athletes have locked up a stadium in protest. For an update on these and other reports, here is Elizabeth Omori. Elizabeth, over to you.
Hello, Bintu, and a warm welcome to Lagos. A federal high court sitting in Lagos has adjourned to October 2nd the money laundering trial of the former aviation minister, Femi Fani-Kayode, and others charged with 4.6 billion naira fraud. Vera Chumba has more.
Femi Fani-Kayode is charged alongside former Minister of State for Finance, Denadi Usman, and Yusuf Danjuma, former chairman of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON. Also charged is a company, Joint Trust Dimensions Limited. EFCC had preferred a 17-count charge of money laundering against the accused persons, of which they all pleaded not guilty. Trial could not go on as scheduled because the EFCC counsel, Idris Muhammad, informed the court that his third witness, who ought to be cross-examined, was indisposed. The team of defense counsels, however, did not oppose the application for adjournment. One of the defense counsels, Ferdinand Obi, also informed the court of an ex parte application which he would wish to move subject to the court's convenience. The court obliged him. Obi said his application is seeking the leave of court to serve a motion on notice on the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, over alleged acts of contempt. Mr. Obi told the court that the minister had published a list of looters some weeks back and had named the former minister as number 19 on the list. He told the court that the defense views it as an attempt to interfere with the proceedings before the court, which portrays their accused as already guilty of the charge preferred. Justice Mohammed Aikawa granted the application. Further hearing continues on the 2nd of October. In Lagos, Viera Chunguba, NTA News.
As speculations continue over the identity of the middle-aged woman who allegedly plunged into the lagoon in a suicide mission, the Federal Road Safety Corps says there's no connection between the SUV parked on the 3rd Mainland Bridge and alleged suicide being circulated on social media. The sector commander in Lagos, Hygienist Omeje, who disclosed this to NTA News, said security agencies are still in search of the body. Michael Olale reports.
This SUV Ford Edge blue in color has been the center of attention since the news of a middle-aged woman who allegedly jumped into the lagoon Sunday evening went viral. Security agencies in Lagos are apprehensive as a result of the development, especially as nobody could ascertain the true identity of the victim. Lagos State Sector Commander, FRSC, however, gives an insight based on the stickers on the windshield of the vehicle.
I posted it at the Omole Phase 2 resident group for reaction. And I got a reaction that actually that person was not the person that jumped into the lagoon. A good Samaritan who, according to him, witnessed when a cab dropped a lady and the lady was climbing the rail. And there are about actually 2 of them who were at the front line like that. I saw it for them to restrain the lady from jumping in. They couldn't help the lady. The lady had just jumped into the lagoon.
So, but we're not taking anything for granted. We are nosing around. We are swimming in and out of the water. As soon as something is found, this command would make it public.
A similar incident involving one Dr. Oji was reported in March last year. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Simoimi Edgol, has advised couples to always seek professional counseling during marriage crisis rather than allow anger lead them to committing crimes such as domestic violence. The police commissioner stated this when he paraded 31-year-old Joy Imeribe for allegedly pouring hot water on her husband, Ibe Akachi, over a dispute, thereby causing him a life-threatening injury. Doing Dia reports.
I have 4 kids for him and he wants to kill me. He locked me inside and the beating was so serious. And there's a water he boiled to bet the kids. So I now, with the anger, with the provocation, I now threw the water on him.
That was the suspect Joy Imeribe after being arrested by the gender unit of the Lagos State Police Command. The incident, according to her, occurred on May 29th after a verbal disagreement with her husband a night before.
And emptied the hot contents on the husband, causing him very severe and life-threatening burns. The incident, which is coming barely a week after a woman stabbed her husband to death in the Ikorodu area of Lagos. The command is worried that we are having one too many cases of domestic violence.
The Lagos State Police Command also paraded 21-year-old Ibiji Chukwemeka, Caleb Isaac, and Paul Eyimika for allegedly raping a 15-year-old girl at number 52 Jaguar Street, Ajangbadi area of the state. 6 other suspects who specialize in renting physically challenged children for alms begging were also paraded by the command. Others paraded were cultists and armed robbery suspects. The command recovered phones, cars, and dangerous weapons from the suspects. In Lagos, Doing Dia, NT News.
Nigerian Navy impound smuggled rice in Calabar. Let's join Diba Barry in Port Harcourt for details of these and other reports.
Good evening, Elizabeth, and welcome to Port Harcourt. Non-senior commissioned officers of the Nigerian Army have been urged to wake up to their responsibility in the face of security challenges, given the important role they play in various formations and units. Commander Infantry Corps Major General Adeosun Lamidi said this at the training of non-commissioned senior officers in Port Harcourt.
As part of its activities to ensure proficiency of officers in different cadres, the 6th Division Nigerian Army organized a training for Regimental Sergeant Major, Master Warrant Officers and Warrant Officers towards enhancing their operational competence. Special guest of honor, Commander Infantry Corps Major General Adeosun Lamidi, represented by Major General Eniobong Udo, said the training aims at improving the capacity of the personnel.
They are the ones who, first of all, have a direct touch with the soldiers. A training session like this identifies gaps in their control and administration of the troops.
Acting as parental figures to soldiers and families in the barracks, they serve as link between commanders, COs, and the soldiers.
The guest lecturer, Major General Ayodele Wahab, retired, explained the import of the topic, safeguarding the Nigerian Army barracks, an appraisal of Regimental Sergeant Major and Warrant Officers' responsibilities.
We are not just looking at safeguarding the physical structure, safety of virtually everything.
The theme for the training, regimentation as a bedrock of military discipline and professional responsiveness, the role of the RSM. In Port Harcourt, Vivian Izadefi, NTA News.
About 3,000 bags of rice smuggled worth 52 million naira have been seized by the Nigerian Navy in Calabar. The items were seized along a creek within the Calabar River. Maureen Liu Ajung has details.
In a bid to rid its waterways of criminals and all forms of criminality, the Nigerian Navy regularly patrols creeks and rivers to ensure adequate security. This has continued to yield positive results, with the recent being the arrest of 5 persons who attempted to smuggle in rice.
In compliance with the extant rules, these things have to be handed over to the Nigerian Customs Service for further prosecution. It's onus on us to ensure that we don't allow these things to come into the country in order to ensure that the policy of the government is sustained.
Assistant Controller of Customs Eastern Marine Command Omachi Joshua commended the synergy between the security agencies in protecting the maritime environment and noted that the suspects will be prosecuted.
Every, smuggling activities will have to be nipped in the bud. Otherwise, unemployment will be on the increase in Nigeria, and the local farmers of rice will be, disappointed.
This is the second time a similar arrest has been made within 3 months by the command. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
A 170-page motivational and life-changing book titled Impact to Fame has been unveiled in Port Harcourt. The book, authored by Dame Maureen Terminal, gives a succinct and thrilling account of her personal experiences in the journey of life. Osinachi Silvanus Abraham was at the unveiling of the book and now reports that the launch attracted prominent personalities.
Impact to Fame is a literary work which combines fiction and factual accounts in an exciting, informative and dynamic blend of personal experience of the author, Dame Maureen Terminal. It was made available to a cross-section of readers who aspires to impact their society and attain positive fame.
And here when you read this book, you find a blend of prosaic, poetic land.
It's going to be of benefit to, women who are trying to find their feet in public.
She's able to aggregate everybody's interests and see how she contributes to the progress of everybody.
The first part of the book has traced the author's childhood through adolescence that holds uncountable lessons for anyone interested in using their challenges as stepping stones to destiny fulfillment. The second part of the book examines her life, education, and the power of mentorship.
And God just said to me, go do a book and let people know that they can become whatever they want to become.
When women read the book, it will teach them how to be independent.
Special gift presentation was also made to the Minister of Transportation by the Amayanabo of Bolo Kingdom. Dame Maureen Terminal is a politician and former chairman Ogubolo local government area of Rivers State. Osinachi Silvanus Abraham, NTA News.
Peace Pali in Jos. Femi Chit is standing by to tell us more. It's over to you, Femi Chit.
Hello and welcome to Jos. Operation Safe Haven, OPSH, has reiterated its mandate of peacekeeping, protection of lives and property in Plateau State, regardless of ethnicity, religion, or tribe. The commander, OPSH, Major Anthony Atolagbe, said this at a parley between Birom leaders and elders of Fulani community in Birkin-Ladi local government area. Ijoma Ozomena reports.
The commander of the task force said peace in an area cannot be overemphasized, taking into cognizance the steps taken by the state and security personnel to mediate in clashes between communities. He explained that the force has fashioned out modalities to reduce the level of criminality and settle matters amicably between the Birom and Fulani communities. Major General Anthony Atulabwe expressed optimism that the state will overcome its security challenges with the help of various communities concerned by providing information that can guide its force in fishing out criminals.
Carrying out an operation in one particular location is not targeted at any particular person, but to fish out the criminals in all these areas. And that is critical to the achievement of our goal.
Community representatives from both sides expressed satisfaction with the meeting after presenting their grievances to the force.
We have achieved a high level of understanding about the operations of the estate, and we have agreed to cooperate with them so that we can fight criminality.
These things are issues that we should manage them within ourselves to see how we discover and reintegrate our communities.
At the end of the meeting, both parties agreed that peace must be pursued in a systematic way to ensure its sustainability. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
As the month of Ramadan comes to an end, Muslims have been encouraged to give out alms of food items known as Zakatul Fitr to the needy for them to break their fast and celebrate the Salah. Islamic scholar in Jos, Ustaz Awal Abdullahi, said the alms is to be given in the early morning of Salah day before going for Eid al-Fitr prayers. Abba Abubakar Yakubu takes it from here.
Giving out alms of Zakatul Fitr at the end of every Ramadan fast is an important ritual, mandatory on every head of a family, to share from his regular food to neighbors and relatives who do not have what to cook on Salah day. According to the scholars, raw food such as grains, flour and even cash equivalent to a single tablespoon should be given during breaking of the fast. The philosophy behind giving out Zakat al-Fitr is to strengthen the bond of brotherhood among the believers and to purify one's fasting from sins committed in the month of Ramadan.
The noble Prophet ﷺ prescribed that charity to be given to each and every poor. The measure to be given to each and every poor is one scoop of the noble Prophet ﷺ, that is Mubin Nabi. It is approximately 3.5 kilograms of staple food that is very common in your area.
Malam Haruna Uba Yusuf, a grain seller at New Market in Jos, said when it remains a day or two, people will be rushing to buy what they can afford to give for their Zakat al-Fitr.
Scholars have taught us the significance of supporting one another at a time like this.
I know the quantity in raw maize, so I practicalize it in the meat. I increase a little quantity so that that quantity is like a sadaqah from me.
People have already started patronizing such places in preparation for the day of Salah. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
A workshop to boost the generation and management of internally generated revenue in the 20 local government areas of Bauchi State has ended in Bauchi. Organized by the State Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, the workshop is to educate participants in the standard operational procedure of revenue generation. Abbas Mekano completes the report.
Over the years, countries of the world have defined and set standards of financial reporting, revenue collection and management with emphasis on accountability and transparency in governance. In Bauchi State, this workshop is part of effort towards the development of unified revenue coding system as well as to enlighten the stakeholders on the operation of local government areas of revenue collection and management. State Commissioner, Ministry of Local Government Affairs, Nasiruddin Muhammad, was represented at the ceremony by Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Aliyu Babeu.
By employing the services of the consultant, method of collection has been improved, and to some extent leakages were blocked.
Director Planning of the Ministry, Hamish Muhammad, revealed that some level of resistance was noticed in revenue generation and collection as a result of engaging the services of consultants in the 20 local government areas, hence the need for the seminar to improve the relationship and synergy among all the stakeholders. As a way of ensuring effective delivery and full attainment of the workshop objectives, 3 papers were presented during the training. In Bauchi, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
Time now to join Chineye in Enugu with an update on PVC distribution and other reports. Hello, Chineye.
Hello, Famichit, and welcome to Enugu. The Independent National Electoral Commission, Enugu State, says the need for prospective voters who registered between April to December 2017 to collect their permanent voters card has become an urgent matter of state concern if the state must avoid high number of uncollected PVCs ahead of 2019 general elections. The resident electoral commissioner, Emeka Ononamadu, stated this while speaking in an interview with NTA News crew. Ngozi Silva Technical takes it from here.
The resident electoral commissioner in the state, Emeka Ononamadu, stated that the distribution of the permanent voter cards of 2,000 started in earnest on the 21st of May this year in Enugu State. Mr. Ononamadu said that the distribution is currently ongoing in all voter registration points as well as 17 local government areas of the state.
So long as you've presented yourself to register, you've signaled that you want to be part and parcel of our election cycle and process. Therefore, do everything within your reach, make out time.
The resident electoral commissioner remarked that though the turnout so far is impressive, there is still need for intending voters to come forth for their permanent voter cards in order not to have the over 130,000 permanent voter cards not collected in 2011. Meanwhile, a tour around some of the distribution centers showed people waiting patiently, while those whose cards were already sorted out expressed enthusiasm to vote candidate of their choice come 2019.
Even at the national level, at the state level, I want to go out and my own.
The resident electoral commissioner assured those registering now that INEC will see to it that all permanent voter cards are ready and distributed before election date next year. In Enugu, Ngozi Silva, Technical, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority Enugu Network Center has again been commended for its professionalism in broadcasting. This time, the commendation is from the Nigerian Police Enugu State Command. The letter of recognition was received by the Zonal Director of the station, Benny Modi, at a security summit organized by the State Police Command in partnership with the Police Community Relations Committee. Amechi Pius reports that Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi was also honored at the event.
The focus of this security summit, which brought together stakeholders from different fields of human endeavor, is to evolve ways of achieving effective policing in Enugu State and the country at large. A former Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Ojukwu, who spoke on the theme, effective policing, emphasized the need for policing. This, he explained, requires citizens to always provide the police with useful information to enhance their operations.
There are problems and there are problems. And every problem has a solution. When a problem arises, did the police solve it? They have to solve it to enable them solve other problems as they arise.
The Nigerian Television Authority was recognized by the police for its strategic partnership with the force in promoting peace and a crime-free society. Zonal Director NTA Enugu Network Center, Benny Modi, received the commendation letter on behalf of the Director General of the NTA.
I feel honored, and it's a confirmation that the relationship has been smooth. So it's my prayer that it continues that way.
Governor of the state, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, and Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, who were represented at the occasion, were also recognized. In Enugu, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
In its resolve to fight crime to a halt, the Anambra State Police said suspects arrested in connection with the recent rival cult activities that claimed lives in the state, as well as 11 armed robbers. The State Commissioner of Police, Garba Umar, who paraded the suspects at the police headquarters, Oka, urged parents and institutions to help complement efforts of the police in ensuring security of lives and property in the state. Ngozi Okekaru has details.
Parading the suspects within the age range of 20 and 34, the police commissioner Umar said arrests were made through its crime prevention review strategies and patrol with the raid of some flashpoints in Oka, Obosi and other criminal hideouts in the state to nip crime in the bud.
These strategies started yielding positive results as the command has arrested 35 suspected cult members belonging to different sects group.
Among the 35 suspected sects arrested, 5 were members of Black Axe and Vikings fraternity linked to recent cult gun battle in Oka that the CP revealed claimed 16 lives in 2 weeks. One of the suspects confessed that greater percentage of commercial motorcyclists and keke riders operating in the state belonged to cults. 11 suspected armed robbers and their accomplices were also nabbed, and exhibits recovered from them include 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 English Beretta pistol, 15 rounds of 7.62 live ammunition, 3 cartridges and a red Toyota Matrix car snatched from its owner from Benin, Edo State. The CP says investigation is still ongoing, after which the suspects will be charged to court. In Oka, Ngozi Okekaru, NTA News.
And that's it from Enugu. It's back to you, Bintu, in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Chineye. You are watching the Nationwide on NTA. The news continues in a moment. Stay with us.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There is no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
On Tuesday Live this week, we shall be x-raying Nigeria's economic outlook and the strides towards sustainable development under President Muhammadu Buhari. Tuesday Live promises to be incisive and informative. Don't miss it.
My children cannot go to any school that has no class.
For others, it's all about status symbol and making a statement of arrival on the highway of the rich.
If they ask me to buy them a helicopter, I will go and borrow money and buy a helicopter for them.
Cheaper schools are also believed by some to possess the humility of purpose that engenders a calm and equality-based sense of education in the students.
And they do not make unnecessary demands.
Should schools take the position of parents and raise our children?
But I don't see anything wrong there. We pay dearly for it, so they should work.
On this week's episode of Professor John Bull, titled Expensive School.
My street now, number 1 Olodorabada Street, by get sense junction. Follow that, you must be stupid express enter. You hear me? See nose like horse when kata the worry.
Over and out. Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
From the 21st to the 23rd of June 2018, more than 300 of the world's influential media professionals, including editors, senior media executives, leading journalists, academics, and social commentators, will converge on Abuja, Nigeria, as the International Press Institute holds its World Congress in Nigeria for the very first time. Expected dignitaries include 4 African presidents and participants from 150 nations to deliberate on the theme,
Why Good Journalism Matters, Quality Media for Strong Societies.
President Muhammadu Buhari will deliver the opening address at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and IPI World Congress Organizing Committee Chairman, Nduka Obaigbena, welcome IPI Executive Board Chairman, John Yearwood, Executive Director, Barbara Triumphi, and all delegates to the IPI World Congress 2018. Tony O. Iradia, Chairman, Media and Publicity Committee, Announcer.
I am Segun Odegbami. Are you looking for a school that combines a child's passion for sport with first-class education?
Look no further. That school has been existing for 10 years and has produced first-class student athletes that have gone on to top Nigerian and American colleges and universities, still pursuing their dreams in academics and sports. The school is Segun Odegbami International College and Sports Academy, a co-educational, full-boarding secondary school with science, arts and commercial classes taught with modern e-learning facilities located in a serene campus in Wasimi near Abeokuta, Ogun State. Admission for the academic session is already on. Enroll them into SOCA, where students are taught to excel and become the very best they can be. Call today. Visit the website or the school's campus.
Trust me and trust your child in our care.
SOCA, where sports and education are in perfect harmony.
It's good to know that you're still tuned to Nationwide on the NTA. Now, the third series of the Nigerian Television Authority annual Ramadan Iftar took place at its headquarters in Abuja. Yusuf Umar reports that the event is part of NTA's efforts to foster unity and peaceful coexistence among Nigerians.
Like the previous Iftar, the event brought together Nigerians, irrespective of religion and ethnic affiliation, with the aim of uniting Nigerians, preaching tolerance, brotherhood, peaceful and harmonious coexistence in the interests of the country. Minister of Information Lai Mohammed, represented by the Director General NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, appealed to Nigerians to continue to live with one another peacefully for the development of the country.
My role here today is really very limited because apart from representing the Honorable Minister, I'm breaking my fast. I really do not have any official responsibility to discharge. So I would like to use this privilege of my position as the landlord to add my voice to the continuous calls for tolerance, peacefulness, brotherhood, and accommodation among Nigerians in the practice of our faiths.
One of the bounties that God has given this great nation is tremendous human resource. And it is with the human resource that we manage and develop the economy. And without peace and unity, the derivable benefits of economic prosperity will not be attained.
President, Christian Association of Nigeria, North Central, Reverend Israel Akanji says there is no alternative to goodness and peaceful coexistence.
NTA has become one of the media approaches to peace building. There are several approaches being used, and we need eclectic approaches, that means of all kinds, in order to be able to have peace in the nation.
We must make sure that we stop all things that are bringing us apart.
Speakers at the events lauded the harmonious brotherhood exhibited by the NTA Muslim community. In Abuja, Yusuf Umar, NTA News.
From religion, we move to health issues, where Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, known as Gavi, has agreed to extend its funding of Nigeria's strategy for routine immunization and primary health care systems, strengthening beyond 2012 to cover another 10 years. The Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, explains that the project is worth $2.7 billion. Gavi is committing over $1 billion, which the federal government is providing counterpart fund of $1.9 billion, a move that will see an increase and sustenance of equitable vaccine coverage across low coverage areas, thereby reducing under 5 mortality.
Into Nigeria must be transparently used, and we must account for every dollar. That's very important, and we are committed to that under this present administration. Desire to recommence vaccine production is on stream. We expect that Miambika, the first drug manufacturing company in Nigeria that we are partnering with, will be able to produce vaccines, or at least some vaccines of international standard.
Very happy to be identified and also be available to support any additional work that ED has just informed us that have road ahead of us.
Nigeria and Gavi's partnership on immunization began in 2001, in which period Gavi provided life-saving vaccines and non-vaccine operations amounting to over $700 million. As a result, over 2 million lives have been saved in the last 17 years. We pause again for some messages. We will be back shortly.
When you think about hospitality and affordable luxury away from home, then you talk about Sharon Ultimate